Hey, this is Keith from Save to Rust, and today we're in Brandon, Manitoba, Canada with Brent Law from Ironcraft Inc. And we're going to check out some of the bikes he's got and his shop and talk to Brent about his life as a custom bike builder and see what he's got going on. Follow along. So Brent, we're in Brandon, Manitoba, Canada, at your shop here, Ironcraft Inc. You want to tell me what you do here and some of your bikes. Let's see some of these incredible machines that you've built over the years.
Yeah, for sure. Ironcraft Inc. in Brandon, Manitoba, Canada. I've been in business since 2014 as Ironcraft. Previous to that, my brother and I started a build company called Cycle Boyz Customs back in 03, I guess, so 20 years ago. We parted ways in 2014, I think it was. So yeah, it's been Ironcraft ever since, and I would say probably 80% of my business is custom bikes still, and I do a lot of welding and fabrication and machine work also. Not relevant to bikes, but yeah, most of it's bikes still.
So what do you got behind you?
This is my personal bike. Basically started as part of a frame from a 75 Super Glide, I think. I used the neck casting, the engine cradle, built the rest of the frame. Built the Springer, Nostalgia Cycle cases, 82-inch motor, 4-speed ratchet top, old bagger wheel. Like to use old Harley parts if I can. I think that's what chopper started as, so I'd still try and do that. So it's a rocker oil bag that I sectioned and recessed oil filter in the bottom. Back wheel is actually a front wheel off like a street glide or a bagger of some kind. Rear calipers are front Sportster calipers. Man, the rest of it's pretty well handmade. Aluminum fuel tank. Made the bars, made the throttle linkage, Springer. Controls, pipes. Lots of stainless, pretty well everything's stainless, just so I don't have to deal with chrome shop. Make it and polish it in-house. Yeah, seat upholstery by B&C Cycles, paint by Scott at Chemical Candy, leather bags by Ken Martins at Lowbrow, some of the casting by my buddy Brent Graham. Yeah.
Lots of details.
Lots of details, that's kind of my jam, yeah.
So tell me about those nostalgic cases, because not a lot of people would know what that means.
Yeah, so they were a speed part in the 80s, built by the same company as the Super V motor that also kind of failed. So barrels cast onto the cases split horizontally rather than vertically. Nightmare to put the bottom end together, as I'm sure Roger Goldhammer can attest to. We used Evo 3-piece wheels, had to machine the wheels down for clearance, but really cool cases. I actually ended up buying 2 sets of them years ago, over 10 years ago, just finally got to where I could afford to build one, and man, it's a good running bike. Everybody says they're boat anchors, but I put a ton of miles on this bike, and yeah, it works good.
And I can see up there you have another set of cases.
Yeah, it was crazy. I found a set on eBay, like I say, more than 10 years ago. And about a month later, I found another set, and I mean like for $200. So I ended up buying both sets. Someday that'll be a complete motor, maybe.
And then what do you got over here?
That's a bike I built for a good buddy of mine in the Cycle Boyz days. Derek and I built that in, man, I don't remember, 2012-ish maybe. Yeah, probably 2012, something like that. Same thing, started out life as a stock FLH. So motor, trans, and frame all match. Derek rebuilt the motor and trans, I hardtailed the frame, so all stock serial numbers still, and 93-inch motor, dual mag fired. Same thing, most everything else handmade. It's just back in the shop now. I just did a new rear fender and a sissy bar, so it's a bit more usable, somewhere to strap a bag. Yeah, V-rod rear wheel. Once again, I like to use old Harley parts, or in this case, newer Harley parts, I guess.
Lots of engraving.
Yeah, Heather New from New Line Engraving did all that. She's amazing. She's just a fantastic person to deal with.
And did you cast the air cleaner?
Brent Graham, my buddy out in Carberry, does the pouring for me. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
He's been casting stuff for me for years, 20 years probably. The people you meet through motorcycles, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, everybody that seems like everybody that's done work with me on these things has ended up being a good friend in that, right? So that's what it's about.
So is this the bottom of the tank?
Yeah, stainless tunnel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we did the tunnel out of stainless, the filler neck out of stainless, crafty B cap on it that Heather engraved. So yeah, I wanted a stainless tunnel so we could leave it as polished stainless. The frame, VL springers, nickel plated. Rest is either polished stainless or aluminum.
Oh, I love the oil tank with the early Harley emblem.
Junk Motors, I believe, was the gentleman out of Japan that was casting them. They were just two rough cast halves that they were making little fuel tanks out of. So I sectioned one, scooped it out because there's an airbag under the seat there, and it's actually got a recessed oil filter in the bottom of it too. I like to recess the filters in the tanks and cleans it up, eliminates a couple lines.
What do you got going on over here?
That's my makeshift frame jig. I hardtail a lot of shovel head frames. As you know where we're at, registering a custom bike isn't that easy, so I love to use a Harley frame, Harley serial number, and then I'll just, I just cut them off and I make the back section. I'll use lots of these axle plates, they're just harvested off a Softail. So the Softail axle dropouts and make everything in between.
So this one, you look like you're doing some smoothing.
Yeah, I windowed the neck a little bit here. It's far from done. Probably going to window it more. This mount will stay, I think. Yeah, lots of cleaning up left to do, but
awesome.
This will be if all goes as planned, this will be a big inch shovel head. 90s style, muscle bike, as they say.
All kinds of signs up on the wall,
Yeah.
some antique ones, some custom ones.
Some that aren't antique. My wife Amy hand paints all these banners. Black Cat Creations.
So the Harley here, this Harley, the AMF one.
Yep, you betcha.
Awesome.
Yeah, she did that big one over there. The What Would Dolly Do? She painted that Indian.
And who is this again that does this? Your wife?
Black Cat Creations.
Black Cat Creations.
Yep, Black Cat Creations on Instagram.
Out of Manitoba, Canada.
You betcha.
And what do we got going on up here?
A bunch more projects, a few of my own bikes, some customer bikes, big inch Dyna, a Triumph, a stock shovel, a couple XS 650s, a couple 45s, Servi car, and a 47 Chief that I'll get to someday. Nice.
So you got three Servi cars, or three 45s here. Everyone knows I love my 45s.
Yep.
You got all kinds of, lots of decorations in here.
Nobody likes a boring workspace.
Yeah. Looks like you got some Indian tanks hanging here too.
Yep, I do.
Nice.
47.
That's for the one up there?
Yeah, it's got a really nice set that I don't want to mess with, so gonna do a full second set of sheet metal for it if I can.
And you got a couple of bikes on the lifts here. These are some customers' bikes that you're building?
Yeah, you bet you. Evo choppers. Decided to do two at once to try and speed things up. So one's a 99, started off as a 99 Springer Softail, the other one's a 91. But both, stock Softails that I've hardtailed, and they'll be just cool, reliable little choppers when they're done.
Awesome. So show us around. What else you got going on here?
That's it. That's the shop. An old forklift mast to get the bikes up and down. And a filthy showroom. Yeah, another 45. Some customer work. Little Buell we're going to build. Yeah.
Nice Indian motorcycle sign.
Yep.
That's beauty.
Stole it out of your backyard.
There's stuff everywhere. You just got to look for it and stumble upon it.
And be relentless.
Yeah.
Most of the old stuff I own, I've chased for years before I got to buy it. You know what I mean? So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, everybody calls you lucky when you find that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Don't realize that you chase it for 10 years before you get a chance to pay for it. Yeah, super lucky.
You want some gear? Here you go. Here's the email. What's your phone number if someone wants to buy some of your swag?
204-727-1833.
Perfect.
Yeah, Ironcraft Inc. on Instagram. Seems about the only place I update. Sell them.
It's got all kinds of different shirts, different styles. It's awesome. Lots of cool stuff. You want to show us some of your antique bikes upstairs?
Sure, if you want.
So Brent, as we're coming up your lift here, I noticed over there that's a West Coast chopper frame.
Yeah, that's actually a 140 tire CFL frame. One of the early ones made in Texas, so pretty rare frame actually. So it'll be a cool build. So it's rather than a normal 200 tire, which most of the CFLs were, it's a 140 tire with radius axle dropouts and stuff. So it'll be a cool frame.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then you got a pretty banged up 45 frame there. What's the story on that?
Yeah, it's seen better days. A local farmer found it in a tree line. He bought a quarter section of land, and somebody in the day had bulldozed the yard, you know, everything up into a tree line, and he literally tripped over it. Yeah, so ended up buying it from him.
That's probably a WLC from the break we were looking at?
Yeah, you betcha. I'm pretty sure it is. Still a military front fender that, you know, back in the day somebody had riveted skirts in, and yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah. And then you got some kind of like a place to put some of your parts and stuff. And
A fucking disaster, you mean? Yeah.
so you got a FXR here?
Yeah, that's a personal build if I ever get to it. A big inch, 131 inch FXR, 6-speed. Should be a pile of fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you got a shovel here.
Yep, customer project.
Awesome. And then you're saying this is your big inch.
Yeah, that's my dyne I've had for years. Way before dyne worked the whole. Probably had that bike for, man, close to 15 years. 124 S&S, Baker 6-speed, S&S clutch. It's a pile of fun.
Awesome. And a couple of customers.
Yeah, that's a Triumph my kid's been riding.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then that shovel head I bought at a Minot this summer. Emotional purchase. It's identical, and I mean identical to my first shovel, which is now obviously chopped up, but yeah, so.
And what year is that, like 81?
Yeah. Yeah, 81.
And then you got, what you got going on over here?
Amy's XS 650, Reverend Rambler's XS 650. This is my 45 that, again, I'll get to someday. Customer 45. 45 Surrey car.
Brent got this one about 10 minutes from my house.
I did. Yeah, picked it up on a Saturday in pieces, you know, literally in pieces in the winter. Called a buddy on the way home. I'm like, hey man, grab this 45. I'm going to try and hang it together tonight enough to, you know, link the primary and kick it over and see what we got. Got back here at about 6 o'clock and, you know, over some beers, a couple buddies, it was fired up at midnight. Hadn't ran that we know of at least 20 years, probably more.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so pretty cool little motors.
And then you've got, you know, again, something I'm kind of fond of, Harley Survey car.
Yeah, it's a 68, I believe. Same thing. We've had it for a long time. We bought this from the second owner. He bought it off the original owner. Yeah, very original 68.
12 volt ignition, or 12 volts.
Yep, believe it or not, that's the stock alternator.
And then you've got the really rare wheels with the hubcaps. And This is a left-hand tank shift. And it's got the hydraulic front end with the fiberglass box. So this is a...
Yep.
They stopped making these in 73. So this is a...
Right.
And where did they come from?
A late example. It spent its whole life in Ontario until a buddy of ours from Manitoba bought it, and then we bought it from him. So third owner, I guess. Yeah, and he drove it all winter. If you look close, it's pretty corroded. But he had, and I wish we still had, he had the full tarp front end, you know, into the windshield, and the old guy rode it year round in Ontario.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, the motor case, because of it's got some pitting and stuff, but yeah, he used it.
And then you've got the project right here. That's a beautiful bike.
Yeah, 47 Chief. We've basically been through the motor, you know, I balanced the flywheels and bottom ends back together. I have everything except time.
And what year is this again?
47.
Oh, nice.
So it'll be a good rider.
Is that original paint or has that been a repaint?
No, I don't think it is. Somebody tried to tell me it was. I don't think it is. So yeah, this is the one that I have. I'm putting together another set of sheet metal to do it the way I want it. I'm gonna leave it, you know, fairly original, but build it as something that was maybe customized a bit in the 50s kind of thing. Just because that's what I like, and I don't intend to sell it. I'll ride this one for quite a while.
And you got fin brakes?
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Hand shift?
Yep. Yes, again, it hadn't ran in 20 years when I got it, so I did get it running, you know, just to verify it run, and then I pulled the motor down, and it certainly needed a rebuild, but I did hear it run.
So you got a bunch of old springers there, some more parts, and then looks like some of your parts for your Indian up here.
My Indian shelf, yeah, among other junk.
Awesome.
Yeah. You should have come tomorrow. I promised I was going to clean up tonight.
Hey, I know how it goes. You clean up today and then tomorrow it's dirty.
Yep. Yeah. Doesn't seem like cleaning pays the bills.
No. So once again, I want to thank Brent for taking the time out to show us his shop, show us his projects completed, his future projects, what he's working on, and just talk to us about what he's doing out here in Manitoba, Canada, Brandon, Manitoba, Canada. Anything you want to say, Brent?
No, man, just thanks for stopping by. It was nice to see you, and thanks for what you do. I can't imagine that this stuff doesn't take a ton of your time, so thanks for keeping it alive for us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, keeping the old bikes going, and you know, it takes community to put this stuff together, keep it running, and again, thanks for keeping old shovelheads going on the road. And this is Sid Russ. This is who we are. Have a great day.